My dad laughed at my $300 gift and idolized my sister's lavish $4,700 support. So when they voted me out of the apartment I funded, I revealed a truth that left them in ruins. Only $300? My dad scoffed, peeling back the wrapping paper like it offended him. The envelope slid onto the table and he barely glanced at the card. Lena covers Mom's entire life. $4,700 monthly minimum. What's this supposed to be? A snack? My hand tightened around the edge of the table. I'd saved for that gift, not even from my main account, but from the backup I never touched. Those auto payments came from my backup account, I whispered. He didn't hear me, or pretended not to. His voice rose louder, like a bad comedian trying to milk the crowd. $300. Is that how you say thank you for raising you? Mom just stirred her tea. She didn't look at me or at him either. She was always best at pretending nothing was wrong while the ceiling burned above her head. Then Lena, perfect polish Lena, stood up with that slow, smug motion I knew too well and tossed a folder across the table. It landed with a slap. We voted, she said, like she was announcing a board decision. You need to move out by Friday. I looked around the table. No one flinched. Not Dad, not Mom. My brother Tim chuckled under his breath. Even my youngest cousin kept chewing like nothing happened that night. I revoked every access point, utilities gone, shared rent split frozen, auto payments canceled. I notified the landlord. They found out by morning. I didn't answer the family group chat when it exploded with confusion. I didn't read the frantic text from Mom, but I left something on the kitchen counter. Before I left, an envelope marked confidential with a little handwritten note. You built a lie on my silence. Now you can pay the bill. They acted confused for about 24 hours, pretending they didn't understand what had just happened. I hadn't just revoked all access, frozen rent payments, and left a confidential envelope on the kitchen table. Then the silence shattered. It started with Mom's voicemail, that syrupy soft voice she used when she wanted something. Sweetheart, we didn't mean for it to sound like an eviction. You just need space. You know how your father is when he's stressed. He doesn't mean half of what he says. I didn't answer. Then Lena called, crying. We were joking, okay? You always overreact. It's not even your place. You've been living there rent-free for years. Lie number 1. That apartment was in my name. Rent, utilities, Wi-Fi, even the stupid gas bill, all mine. Lena's share? I'd been covering it since March last year when she lost her job due to toxic energy at work. Translation, she screamed at her manager and got written up again. Every month, she promised to pay me back. Every month, she posted brunch selfies and $300 hoodies. I pulled up the banking app. $11,200. That's how much she owed me. That wasn't counting the Amazon orders she rerouted through my account. I had screenshots, orders marked gift, 1 Dyson Airwrap, 3 packages of hair supplements, and a weighted blanket for emotional recovery. That same day, she texted, "Can you help me with $800 for therapy?" Mom said you wouldn't mind. She didn't realize I'd already locked the accounts. And that's when the smear campaign began. On Facebook, Lena posted a black and white photo of herself in a window, captioned, "Sometimes, the people you trust the most are the ones who teach you what betrayal means." In the family group chat, Dad dropped a cropped screenshot of my text saying, "Not my problem," with no context. The caption read, "This is what he said to his mother after everything she's done." Within hours, the chat lit up with relatives I hadn't seen in years. She raised him better. What happened to that sweet boy? Disgusting. Lena, stay strong. Even my Aunt Beth posted, "He used to be so kind." I guess money changes people. No one asked me what happened. I didn't argue. I just started digging. That's when I found the hard drive, the old backup Lena used to plug into my computer during her freelancer phase. She always said, "I never delete anything. I archive my truth." Turns out she archived too much. Inside a folder called Rent 2022, I found a PDF ledger. January, auto-pay transfer, $450. Say it's Spotify. April, mortgage top-off. He won't notice. Came from reserve. May, got a med bill. Just use backup debit. He never checks. She documented every theft like she was preparing a TED Talk on scamming siblings. But the worst was a folder labeled recordings. I clicked the first one. It was her practicing lines. "Dad, he said he's cutting you off. Said you're a leech. I recorded it. Want me to send it?" Then came the fake audio, Lena using voice mod apps, cutting old voicemails. From me, stitching together lines like some DIY villain origin story. One line said, "I don't care if she dies." I remembered the real message. "I don't care if she lies again. I'm done." but chopped and edited, it sounded like I was talking about Mom, and suddenly I was the monster. Flashback: I was 19 when I first bailed them out. Dad called me while I was working the night shift at a diner. He said the fridge broke, and they couldn't afford a new one. I wired $800 that same day, canceling my semester textbooks to do it. He texted, "Appreciate it. You're finally stepping up. No thank you, no we'll pay you back next month." They bought new patio furniture. I saw it in a Facebook post, "Family barbecue season ready." I remember sitting in my dorm room, eating dry pasta with no sauce, wondering if I was crazy or if they were. Back to now. On Thursday, I called the landlord. He sounded confused when I mentioned the lease. "Oh, your sister told me you were moving to Seattle. Said she'd be taking over payments. She hadn't even told me she was trying to take the apartment, just marched in with a fake story, assuming I'd roll over like always." I sent him the receipts, the utilities, the texts, even a voice memo where Mom literally said, "He always covers the rent. Lena can't handle those things. Lease reassignment canceled." But they didn't stop. Dad posted on his Facebook timeline, "You give them everything, and they still spit in your face. #family doesn't quit." Then he texted me directly, "You're playing with fire. We made you who you are." That's when I found the final blow, a loan agreement from 2022 I never signed. He used my social security number as a co-signer for a $15,000 personal loan. I confronted him back then. He claimed it was a mistake. I told him I'd let it slide if he paid it off. He never did. Now the interest was eating him alive, and the account was flagged for review. I contacted the loan company, filed fraud documents, and attached a legal affidavit from a lawyer friend. The account was frozen. That night, I compiled everything: the financial trail, 3 years of rent, stolen insurance payments, credit cards opened in my name, screenshots from Lena's vault, the fake audio, emails between Mom and the landlord, a spreadsheet titled "Family Expenses, paid 2018 to 2024. The total was over $71,000. Then I zipped it into a folder titled "Confidential, the Ledger." The next morning, I had it printed and hand-delivered. 1 copy to Dad's office, 1 to Mom's mailbox. No letter, no message, just the truth. If they wanted war, I was finally armed, and I wasn't bluffing anymore. The cafe smelled the same: cinnamon rolls, burnt espresso, the sound of a single spoon clinking against ceramic. Nothing had changed in 13 years except me. I sat in the far corner, facing the door, in that old booth by the window. The same one. Mom and I used to sit in after-school competitions when she still called me champ. I watched her walk in, slow, cautious, clutching her purse like it was armor. She looked older than last week, older than ever. When she spotted me, she paused, a flicker of something: guilt, doubt, regret. She didn't smile, just walked over and sat down without a word. "You picked this place," I said flatly. "It was your favorite," she said. "I thought maybe we could talk somewhere that used to mean something." I didn't answer. She sighed, played with the sugar packets, and tried to look motherly. "I didn't know about everything," she began. "The loan, the voice recordings, that was Lena's idea. Your father, he just didn't want to burden you. You helped them steal from me," I said, calm. "You wrote the emails. You called the landlord. You let them use my name for insurance, for credit, for taxes." Her jaw clenched. Her hands trembled just enough to notice. "We didn't think it was a big deal," she said. $71,384, I interrupted. "That's the total of what I paid: rent, bills, Lena's vet visits, your prescriptions, Dad's back taxes. I have a ledger." I pulled out the folder, "Confidential, the Ledger," same as the one I gave Dad, and slid it across the table. "You're lying," she whispered. I opened it to page 3 and pointed. "This one's your email to the insurance company. You added my debit card on file. Remember, you said your card wasn't working." She blinked fast. Then I pulled out something else, a tiny flash drive set on a napkin. "This has Lena's audio montages. You should hear what your daughter created and what your husband approved." Mom looked like she wanted to vanish. "You think this is revenge?" I asked. "This isn't revenge. This is closure." She tried to interrupt. I raised my hand. "No, I let you talk for 30 years. Now you listen." Her mouth shut. "You sat at that table with Dad and Lena and voted to evict me from the apartment I paid for. You told the landlord I was unstable. You watched as they posted lies about me, mocked me online, accused me of abandoning the family while you quietly rerouted payments I made from my emergency fund." "We were drowning," she said weakly. "No," I snapped. "You were comfortable. You were thriving on my name, my credit, my silence. I leaned forward and dropped my voice. I'm done being silent. She shook her head slowly. You don't understand what your father's been going through. He lost his pride. He couldn't provide anymore, so he took mine instead. She said nothing. Tell me, I continued, when you sent that group text, the one where you said I snapped and threatened you, did you think I wouldn't find the screenshots? Lena literally labeled them family bait on her backup drive. She paled, realizing I'd seen everything. You still think this ends with me forgiving you? I said. This isn't a movie, Mom. There's no slow piano and teary hug at the end. I pulled out the last item, an envelope, sealed, clean. This is a formal withdrawal of all financial support, effective immediately. Rent, insurance, cell plans, car loan, groceries, all of it. You wouldn't, she said, but it wasn't a threat. It was a plea. I already did. I stood. My chair didn't even creak. I looked down at her, this woman who once packed me lunch for school and now helped her husband siphon my savings. You told people I turned my back on family, I said. But I didn't. I turned my back on users. Please, she whispered. If we lose the apartment, we have nowhere else to go. That's not my problem anymore, I said. Then I leaned in close for one final line. This coffee is on me. Everything else? Never again. I walked out, didn't look back, and behind me, I heard nothing but silence. By the time I walked out of that cafe, I wasn't angry. I was done. Done being their invisible provider. Done holding shame that wasn't mine. Done carrying. A family that voted me out of their lives like I was the virus when I'd been the vaccine all along. That same night, I recorded a video. No music, no cuts, no dramatic lighting, just me in a single shot facing the camera in my new apartment, the one no one in the family had ever seen. Bare walls, a bookshelf, the folder confidential, the ledger sitting next to a steaming mug of coffee. Some of you may have heard things about me lately, I began, that I abandoned my family, that I turned my back on them, that I snapped. I paused. This isn't a story about betrayal. This is a spreadsheet. Then I walked them through it, page by page, every rent payment, every fake emergency, every dollar rerouted through lies and guilt. Then I shared audio clips, blurred names but recognizable voices, my sister. Fake messages, my dad's voice bragging about using my account. He doesn't even read the statements. That's the beauty. And then my favorite part, the closing. If you're watching this and wondering if I'm doing this to shame them, I'm not. I'm doing it to free myself, and maybe someone else who's been made to feel like a wallet in a family photo. I posted the video at 9 p.m. By midnight, it had 48,000 views. By morning, over 600,000. That's when it started. My inbox exploded. Strangers, survivors, cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. People wrote things like, "You just described my childhood. You gave me the courage to cut off my mother. I thought I was crazy. Thank you for making me feel sane." Therapists reshared it. Then came a call from a podcast host with a big audience focused on mental health and family trauma, then a journalist, then a lawyer, not mine, who offered to help me go after the fraudulent accounts. Then a message from Jake, my sister's ex. What you did. It lit a match. And guess what? She's burning everything trying to put it out. I didn't respond to any of the family's messages. Not the voicemail from Dad. You think, you look strong, but this is pathetic. Not the text from Lena. Please take it down. I'm losing everything. Not even the email from Mom. You proved your point. Now can we stop this? Because it wasn't about a point anymore. It was about reality, one they couldn't lie their way out of anymore. A week later, I launched something new. A clean, minimal website. A digital shelter for people used by those closest to them. It wasn't a non-profit, not yet. But I listed all the tools I wished I'd had. Steps to freeze shared. Accounts, sample letters to landlords, a PDF guide titled, How to Exit a Family with Receipts. At the bottom, a donation link. Not for me, but for a future foundation that supports adults recovering from family-based financial abuse. The site blew up. Within 72 hours, over $14,000 was raised. Someone designed merch, t-shirts that said, "Blood is not equal to debt," mugs labeled confidential, the ledger, hoodies with "I'm not your ATM." Then came the most satisfying part. A friend from high school sent me a link to my dad's Facebook. He posted a video, grainy, filmed from his car. He tried to explain his side, said I was always difficult, claimed I was unstable to discredit. Me said the video I made was doctored, said Lena was going through something. It had 4 likes, all bots. The top comment, "You taught him everything he knows, especially how to walk away." A few days later I drove back to the house, not to go in, just to stand across the street. It was dusk. The lights were off, no music, no laughter, no fake family dinners. The garden was overgrown, the trash bins overflowing. The place looked like it was trying to forget itself. I dropped one last envelope in their mailbox, inside a photocopy of the final withdrawal form, signed, notarized, with one sentence scribbled in red ink: I stopped paying for your silence. Start living with the noise. I left town that weekend. New city, new keys, new number with an area code no one in that house would ever know. Just before I turned off the lights in my new place, I took one last look at the framed print hung above my desk, a gift from someone who'd watched the video and said it saved their life. It read, "Not a villain, not a victim, just finally unavailable." And I smiled because for the first time in years, I owed them nothing, not even goodbye. I started with the contacts list: scroll, tap, delete. Mother, father, Lena, Tim, Claire, Uncle Jim, even the cousin I liked for 5 minutes in 2009, all gone. Then came the socials. I opened Facebook, not to post, not to read, just to purge, unfriend, unfollow, block. Group chat, family time, left. WhatsApp, mom's birthday planning, exit group. Shared calendar invite for dad's therapy Zoom, declined permanently. I didn't just leave, I left and sealed the door behind me on the way out. Next, the apps. I logged into the mobile bank. 6 auto payments still showed my name: mom's health insurance, dad's gym membership, Lena's cloud storage. Tim's Spotify family plan, some suspicious $8 per month charge labeled Utility Help Fund. That one made me laugh. It was mine from 3 years ago, still being charged, still ignored. I hit cancel on every one. Then I opened a section called Connected Users. There were 5. Remove. 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 The confirmation message popped up. Are you sure you want to revoke all access for these users? I stared at the screen. Yes, I'm sure. That night, I came home and started cleaning. Not normal cleaning, not Swiffer Tango, but ritual-grade purification. I pulled out 3 boxes marked family stuff. Keep? That question mark? Gone. The graduation card with "We're proud of you." But the cracked snow globe from Lena's "Sorry for screaming" phase, the framed photo of us at the cabin, I remembered that day. That was the trip Dad got drunk and called me useless with a camera. The birthday mug with first son they gave me the same year they forgot to call? Into the trash, all of it. Even the handmade ornament Mom gave me in 8th grade. Because here's the truth. You don't detox halfway. You don't purge 90%. You go all in, or you keep getting drained. I bought new sheets. White, clean, no memories. New plates, new towels, a new scent. For the diffuser, citrus and rosemary. No cinnamon, no reminders of her kitchen. I rearranged the furniture, flipped the desk around, put my bed by the window. I changed the locks. Then I sat at the kitchen table alone. Coffee, quiet, my phone buzzed. It was my birthday. One text from PayPal, a $15 refund from a canceled family subscription. Not a single message from them. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. No fake happy birthday calls, no guilt bomb messages. From Mom, no passive-aggressive Facebook posts from Lena like, "Some people forget who raised them." Just me, a clean apartment, a full fridge, and a cake I bought myself. Pistachio, no frosting, exactly how I like it. I poured a glass of wine, lit one candle, and sat on the floor. To me, I whispered, for surviving everyone else. I took a bite and smiled because this wasn't loneliness. This was detox. And finally I could breathe.